What's going on, folks? Welcome to Mystics Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons here. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. Let's get to it. It's the first game back on the W side of things for the Mystics post-Olympic break. We knew how things ended before the break. They were about four games or whatnot out of eighth place. Had a lot of starters missing due to injury or whatnot. The positive tonight, it's probably the healthiest they've been in quite a bit. The downside of it, they fell to the Minnesota Lynx, and some of the issues we've seen for most of the year, they've come to a head in terms of closing games. Although I feel like I have a little bit of a different perspective on it at this moment, but I might just see what you have to say, Ray.
Yeah, of course the fourth quarter they just went cold at the wrong time. It is what it is, but the turnovers and the free throws is what really stuck out to me, and both kind of uncharacteristic of them. They usually take care of the ball pretty well and are solid at the line. Yeah, it's I don't even know if I can attribute it to rust or what have you. It was a lot of moving parts. This is the first time I think we've seen all these players on the court together this season, maybe. And then with Shakira and Brittany being on minutes restriction, those the rotations get kind of funky, and your rhythm may get broken and things of that nature. But um, yeah, the Lynx just took advantage of missed opportunities for the Mystics. They started off pretty well. Couple lapses defensively at times, but they were pretty solid for the most part on that end. They were trying to get in transition. A couple times they weren't able to finish. Missed a lot of layups as well. Didn't shoot well, particularly well from three, which is another one of their strengths. But yeah, man, this is just one of those games. The unfortunate part about that, why these games happen, the way they start the season doesn't really allow for them to have games like this on the back end. We talked about how they're really not out of it yet, but time is not on their side. They got to stack up wins and stack them fast if they plan to slide into that eighth spot. But like you said, man, it's just good to see them healthy for the most part. Only person missing tonight was Dede Richards, who's tending to Achilles injury. But yeah, things look different with Brittany Sykes Shakira there. As any player, any team with their top two players coming back, things are going to look different. Defensively, it just changes so much with the on ball pressure, then the security blanket and Shakira protecting the rim. Just gives them a lot more versatility, and it gives the perimeter players a lot more confidence knowing that somebody's got their back. But yeah, man, it was kind of a tough one tonight, especially that fourth quarter. Just got a little brutal down the stretch.
Yeah, it was. It looked like a team that hasn't been together since, I don't know, since people started getting hurt. You have the group that was there, trying to get into, that iteration of the team that was together before the Olympic break. Then you had trying to figure out life with those folks coming back. And it's great to have those folks back, but you still got to figure out how to play with them again. Where versus for Minnesota, it was continuity there for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Diamond had missed some time, but they didn't have the same, they weren't ravaged by as many injuries as Washington was. That said, you brought up, the positives in terms of like the ball pressure and the rim protection and having Sykes and Shakira back, which was great. Even just on the glass, you felt the difference of them being back. I know it probably didn't feel like it too much because they did get out rebounded, but you could attribute some of that to, the minutes restrictions. I'd love to know the splits if, what the rebounding looked like when, whilst that starting five was out on the floor, for example. They're really big at that time. They're really big in those moments. And, Sykes doing what she does. She's one of the best rebounding guards in the league. But yeah, everything just felt a little bit disjointed on both ends. I feel like you got to give credit to Minnesota for the stress they put on Washington's defense. Again, if you're just trying to get back, you're not only trying to regain your cadence offensively, but defensively too. Like that. I feel like that's probably most of where the stuff was lost. I know they had some disjointed moments offensively, but I think it was the disjointed moments defensively cost them a bit more. I think in terms of, are we switching? Are we hedging? And then kind of the lapses in deciding of what we are doing while Minnesota's like, we're attacking while you guys are figuring it out. So, again, it's one game, but like you said, on this side of it, like we were talking heading into the Olympic break, you don't have any more games to waste figuring stuff out. You gotta figure it out while getting the desired result. But shout out to Minnesota for taking care of business, 79-68. Who'd you have as player of the game?
I went Fees. She's their best player, and she was kind of the steadiness and the calming presence. Mystics made a couple runs, and she was right there to answer them. She got a big steal, which led to a fast break layup. As that kind of when the Lynx were kind of stretching that lead out, that just kind of put the Mystics on their heels. So I went Feast tonight.
Yeah, like you said, just being consistent, and to a degree, like the teams that have Olympians on them, in terms of playing big roles, you in a little bit more the luxury in that, right? There's a positive and negative. The negative is they didn't get a break during the break. The positive is, unlike almost everybody else in the league, they've been playing games recently. Everyone else, simulated games and practice, which aren't the same as games. But yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thought Fees did a great job of kind of just picking her spots. And Minnesota definitely benefited from that. Who'd you have as X Factor?
Courtney Williams. Especially for what she did down the stretch, but throughout the game, she had a lot of timely shots. She was there as well, answering the Mystics' runs or bringing Minnesota back. It was later she had a couple big threes that just kind of kept the Mystics at bay and was able to help Minnesota squeeze this one out.
Yeah, she's on that list of folks that do well playing against the Mystics, regardless of what team they go to. It's a very, very short list of players who just whatever, death, taxes, and they're gonna make it an important and immediate impact against the Mystics in a game. Tiffany Hayes is on that list. Courtney Williams is on that list. There's several others, but yeah, just not shocked. She's been huge for Minnesota most of the season, and she came up big tonight. Like you said, down the stretch, and in some of the spots where it felt like the spots when Nafisa wasn't doing something, Courtney was, and that was able to help them kind of, Kelly McBride had a rough night. Credit Washington's defense, and it's bothering her just a bit. She shoots for 2 for 10. You probably feel great if you're Washington, but you can't afford to give up 14 to Courtney Williams, even though it was off 14 attempts. We know these two teams will see each other this weekend, except it'll be on this side of the country. So we look forward to checking in with you guys then. And again, happy to see the Mystics back in, as good of health as anyone can ask for in many, 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 many months, literally since opening night. This is probably the healthiest they've been, and hope Dee Richards wishing her a speedy recovery as well. But we'll see what things look like Saturday afternoon. I believe that game starts at 2. We'll check in with you guys after that.